Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done another video. Um, I was a little bit discouraged, and I have a lot of other things going on. I run an e-commerce website too, and I'm dealing with some false arrest stuff. And first of all, I apologize if the audio is not very good. This microphone's not as good as that on my Android. But I just want to let everybody know that if you do get some value out of these videos and you like them and you think they're good quality and they help you out, please do me a favor by subscribing, because I started this channel as an entrepreneur, and I'm trying to become self-sufficient. So that would really help me out, and in return I'll do everything I can to help you learn Python. And in these tutorials, I'm not one of these people that's just trying to show off, and I'm trying to actually make it where you can understand, and I will make sure that the code is up on the screen so that you can read it, and so you can copy it down. I'm not gonna make it difficult for you to do that. So let's get started. And basically what this system argument thing is it's like when you run an application, like in Linux there's different like terminal based applications. Like say you have a program called we'll just call it do this, right? And then you might give it like attack A or attack F or attack A and then file dot whatever and then attack S file dot whatever, something like that. Those are the system arguments. And so what this does is it lets you do that with your application. So let's start. We're going to import OS, sys, and time. I always import OS, sys, and time. I almost always use them. In this particular application, we're only going to be using, well, we need sys to do the sys argument. So the sys module is what we're using for that. Sys required for. Okay, so first thing you should know is that this syntax right here, Sys.Argv 0, represents the script or executable if you compiled it that's running. So this script that's on the screen right here is represented by Sys.Argv 0. And another way to think of that is, if you've seen my other tutorial on, I'll show you, on file, the innate file variable, Sys.Argv 0 is the same thing as file, but it's used a little bit differently. So this little syntax right here is kind of like a cheat sheet note that shows that they're equivalent. You could also say from sys import argv, but it's just easier to just import the whole thing. So let's get started. So we'll make a list, we'll call it arg, and in here we're going to put our arguments, which would be like the attack A, attack F, attack whatever, and go ahead and add them. We'll just do a couple examples. Attack A, attack B, attack F, attack K. I love the way code looks. We'll make an error message. Argument not recognized. And then we'll make 4 simple functions. Attack A. And we'll come back to that. We'll add some stuff in there. I'll go ahead and treat this video like everybody who's watching it as a newbie. I don't know if you are or not, but a function. Sorry, it's hard for me to type and talk at the same time. Let me get these typed out and I'll explain to you attack. Okay, a function is like a button on a remote control. You press the button and it does a certain task. That's what a function is, right? And we define a function with def and then we give it a name, right? So now we're gonna, this is really cool. You may or may not be familiar with if this, then do this, blah blah blah. We're going to use a dictionary like that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to call it Sys.Argv, and of course you can call it whatever you want. And then we're going to put arg0, which represents A here. We'll go ahead and make note of that, because in a list you always start with 0. So attack A is arg0, attack B is arg1, attack F is arg2, and attack K is arg3, right? Okay, that's our list. list, which is basically the same thing as an array in other programming languages like Bash and SH, etc. Let me make sure my volume's turned up so you guys can hear me good. Yeah, okay. So what this is, let me type it out and then I'll explain how this works. TAC A. It's very important you get the spacing right in here. Arg1, which is going to be TAC B. And this works like a if then else statement. And what it's going to do, we're going to plug something in there later, and what this basically means is if the argument is equal to arg0, which is TAC A, then run the function TAC A, which is this. If it's equal to argument 1, which is TAC B, then run the function TAC B, etc. So I'll explain that again in a minute. arg2 TAC F right here. Argument 2 TAC F. Argument 3, and then run if argument 3, then run TAC K. And that's all we have in there for now, so let's close the dictionary. And then now we want error handling in here, so we're going to use try. What this means is try to do this, try to, I'll explain it after I type it up. Okay, now this right here is where all the magic happens. Sys.Argv represents this, right? And this is like our if then else. So what it's saying is what argument we plug in the terminal here, like we say file.exe TAC A, right? TAC A is our argument, and that's going to be Sys.Argv1. Now in this example, I'm just going to use the first one. We're just going to give it one argument. So what it's going to do is if we type in TAC A, it's going to go through this and it's going to go, if the argument is TAC A 0, then run the function TAC A. If the argument is TAC B, argument 1, then run TAC B, because remember arg, see the two? Arg here is this list. Arg0 is TAC A, arg1 is TAC B, arg2 is TAC F, arg3 is TAC K. So if it's TAC A, then run TAC A. If it's TAC B, run TAC B. If it's TAC F, run TAC F. If it's TAC K, run TAC K. And then this right here is going to be whatever the argument you entered in there is. Now, it's important here, we got to open square bracket. Whenever you open any kind of bracket, you end with that bracket. So we got to open bracket here, and we have to make another one here, so we're going to end with 2. That was confusing for me when I first started programming. And then this right here, it basically means that you run it like a function, you know what I mean? Because when we make a function, we always end with those. And of course you could pass arguments in there too, or whatever you call it. I use my own terminology. I don't know if that's how they explain it in the official Python documentation. But now we're going to make error handling in case, say you typed in an argument that doesn't exist, TAC P. So that's what accept. So try means to try to do this and expect an error, and if the error happens, we're going to do this. Now I'm going to also show you about string formatting in here real quick. So we'll go print %s error. Okay, what this is going to do is %s is, we use this for string formatting, and now what that's going to do is we got our open and we got our close single quotation here. %s we define over here, so we can put %s anywhere we want in echo or a print or something like that, and we define it over here. After we close the single quotation, we do a % sign and then an open and a close bracket. And of course, since we have an open bracket here, we have to put 2 here. We got to end. Anytime we make a bracket, we have to close it, so that's why we got 2 at the end. Now error we made up here. It's just going to say argument not recognized. So %s here is represented by the variable error, which we tell right here, we tell the interpreter what %s is. So we say % and then we put it in there. Now if we have more than one string formatting set up in here, we would put comma, whatever the next one is, var, comma, var, or we could put, you know, some text in there like that. So that's that. When you first see it and you don't understand it, it looks complicated and you think, my God, this is advanced, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, if you don't know how to speak Russian and you look at a Russian book, it's going to look intimidating, but it's just because you don't understand it yet. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. So next, then we're going to go print Sys.Argv 1 plus %s. And that's going to show us what the user entered. And I'm reading this off a paper I got. So we'll tell the interpreter that that represents see what I did there? Sys.Argv. Let's do this. We'll say you entered, and then this is what they entered, plus the available arguments are, and then we'll say %s, and then we'll plug in argv, or actually I made a mistake there, arg, which is going to print all of the available. And when we're done with this, I'll make a better like help echo or help file, whatever you want to call it. And then let's see here. Print Sys.Argv. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. Now we're gonna put this in motion and watch it. Watch it at work. But before we do, we need to put some stuff in here so we can tell. Let's do something here. Synergy. I'm trying to remember how to use Synergy. Synergy lets you display pop-up messages on the screen. Let me sorry about this. It's been a while. I've been programming on my Windows computer. We'll do something else. We'll make it just echo something out for now. I've been programming on my Windows computer, kind of switch back and forth from Linux, and it's been a while since I've used Entity. So what we'll do here is we'll just make it say something. Hello, you've entered. Oop, let's get rid of that. You've entered TAC A. Your app function TAC A. Okay, and then for TAC B, we'll say, I want Chinese food for dinner. And this just basically just shows how it works. And obviously in a real program, we'll put these functions will do something, you know, useful instead of just printing messages to the screen. But this is just to show you that we can control the application by feeding it different arguments. Argument F was entered. Press the K argument into the terminal. Okay. And I called this Sys.Argv. Oops. Okay. So we're going to go Python. And then we're going to run Sys.Argv. TAC A. hello, you've entered TAC A. You're at the function TAC A, which is right here. Now if we go Python Sys.Argv TAC K, you press the K argument into the terminal. Python Sys.Argv TAC F, argument F was entered. Python Sys.Argv, let's see, TAC B. I want Chinese food for dinner. Now, let's put one in that's not recognized. TAC Z. Argument not recognized. You entered TAC Z, and I need to add a space in there. Let's see, you entered. Yeah. There we go. Let's do that again. And then, of course, it says the available arguments are, and then it prints out the argument list here to show you which ones you have to work with. Now you can show you another neat trick that you can do is you can say print, and you can explain like what each one is. And this will let you do something on different lines. Now hopefully I remember this correctly. Let's see. TAC A equals do this. TAC B equals do that. TAC F equals do this, that, and the other. TAC K equals that, this, the other, and more. And then we'll go now. Hopefully I did that right. Can only concatenate list. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go S. Let's try that. Whoop. Sorry, I hate messing up on camera. It's some simple little mistake I'm making with that. We'll worry about that later. Let's try this. Oh, forgot the we've already showed them what argument they've entered. There we go. So that way if they enter an incorrect argument, it's like a help file that it echoes out to the screen. And of course we can make this look a little bit better. You know, like I'd want to have that on a separate line. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and close that and go print. Make it look a little neater. Oops. Line 31. Oh. Big mistake. There we go. Argument not recognized. You entered TAC Z. The available arguments are TAC A, TAC B, TAC F, TAC K. And then it tells you what they do. So that's pretty much it. So now what I'm going to do is, because I know when I watch tutorial videos, I hate it when they won't leave it on the screen for you to see it. So I'm going to just give you a chance to write this down if you want. I'll upload it too and put a link in there to the source code so you can check it out. But that's it. We'll just go over it again real quick. We got our shebang line /user/bin/end Python import OS systtime. We didn't actually use the time module or the OS module in here. I just make a habit of doing that because I use them. We create a list. We put our tags in there. Make an error variable. That's the error message we want to display. Create our functions. And then we make this dictionary here. We plug each item in our list in there. Basically means if the argument they entered is TAC A, which is argument 0, then run TAC A, the function. If the argument they entered is TAC B, which is argument 1, run the function TAC B, etc. And then we're going to go try and accept for error handling. Sys.Argv is our dictionary that we use as like a if then else statement. We do that. Square bracket, close bracket. Remember, we're using it like a function. Plug in the system argument that they entered, which is going to be Sys.Argv1. Because remember, Sys.Argv0 is going to be the file that's running, which is this file right here, Sys.Argv.py. And then we have our error handling in case they make a typo or enter the wrong kind of argument. And we also learned how to use string formatting in here. %s is like a variable, and then we tell that what it is in here. So I think that pretty much covers it. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully you've had enough time to jot all this down. If not, you can pause the video and get it down. But anyway, if you're happy with this and you now have a thorough understanding of how to do this, which I'm pretty sure I made it pretty clear, then please help me out by giving me a subscription so you can get notifications and come back for more. And I really appreciate everybody watching. Thank you so much for watching my video, and yeah, please share it and like it and comment and everything. So until next time, I'm Scott. Everything awesome. Peace out.